Imagine drifting off to sleep, feeling safe and sound in your own bed. The house is quiet, the day's worries fade. But what if, unbeknownst to you, something on your dinner plate was silently setting the stage for a stroke while you slept? For millions of Americans over 60, this isn't a hypothetical nightmare but a silent, often unseen risk. We're talking about stroke, a sudden, devastating event that can steal your independence in an instant. And the shocking truth is, it might not be from smoking, inactivity, or high cholesterol. It could be from something you actually think is healthy. We're here to pull back the curtain on 5 common foods that, when eaten at the wrong time or in the wrong way, could be quietly pushing your brain into danger. No warning, no pain until it's too late. One moment you're fine and the next you can't lift your arm, your speech is slurred, or your vision is doubled. This isn't fear-mongering. It's a critical wake-up call based on real-life patient experiences. If you or someone you love regularly consumes certain seemingly healthy items, this information could truly change, or even save, a life. What you're about to discover might challenge everything you thought you knew about healthy eating as you age. Stay with us, because understanding these hidden dangers is the first step to protecting your most precious asset, your brain. 1. Bananas. Heart-healthy but potentially dangerous for nighttime blood pressure in seniors. Most seniors believe bananas are one of the safest fruits. They're easy to chew, high in potassium, and often recommended for heart health. But here's what most people over 60 are never told. A banana eaten at the wrong time, especially late in the day, can quietly become a trigger for a stroke while you sleep. Yes, really. Let's explain. Guidance provided to many individuals recovering from stroke often reveals unexpected causes. Consider Mr. Arthur Davies, 74, a former builder from Arizona. Every night after dinner, Arthur had the same routine: a warm cup of tea and 2 ripe bananas. He believed he was helping his blood pressure and preventing muscle cramps. But one morning his wife found him slumped beside the bed. His speech was slurred, his right arm completely limp. He had suffered a stroke in his sleep without a single warning sign the night before. The test results were alarming. His blood pressure had dropped dangerously low overnight and his sodium levels were off balance. The culprit: potassium overload from eating too many bananas in combination with his evening dose of lisinopril, a common blood pressure medication. The combination had pushed his system into a dangerous state. Low blood pressure plus altered electrolyte levels equals restricted blood flow to the brain. You see, as you age, your kidneys don't clear excess potassium as efficiently. This means that consuming a large amount of potassium-rich food, particularly later in the day, can overwhelm your body's ability to maintain balance. Add to that the natural dehydration that happens overnight and a slower metabolism, and you create a perfect storm for a silent cerebral event. What begins as a healthy bedtime snack becomes quite literally a ticking time bomb inside the body. Worse still, symptoms often don't show until after the damage is done. Many seniors don't realize that too much potassium can slow the heart, weaken the pulse, and drop blood pressure to the point that the brain simply doesn't get the oxygen it needs. The result: strokes, many strokes, and in some cases, even cardiac arrest during sleep. Mr. Davies survived, but not without consequence. He now uses a walker and requires speech therapy. His independence, his ability to drive, walk unassisted, speak clearly, it was all taken in one night by a fruit he trusted. Let's be clear. Bananas are not evil, but timing, quantity, and your medication status matter more than you think. For seniors, half a banana in the morning is usually safe. This gives your body ample time to process the potassium throughout the day when you're active and hydrating. But eating 2 or more in the evening, especially alongside blood pressure medications or diuretics, could set the stage for disaster. These medications already influence your body's electrolyte and fluid balance, making the addition of a high potassium load a risky move. The scariest part: he had no idea he was putting himself at risk, and he's not alone. Many individuals are unknowingly creating a vulnerable state in their bodies. Expert advice on bananas: if you love bananas, enjoy them in moderation and ideally during the day. Consider pairing a smaller portion, like half a banana, with some protein or healthy fat, such as a tablespoon of peanut butter or a few nuts, to help slow digestion and reduce the immediate impact on your blood sugar and potassium levels. A word on potassium monitoring. If you are taking any blood pressure medications, especially ACE inhibitors like lisinopril or ARBs or diuretics, it's crucial to discuss your banana and other potassium-rich food intake with your doctor. Regular blood tests can help monitor your potassium levels and ensure they stay within a healthy range. Your doctor can help you understand how much potassium is safe for your individual needs and medication regimen. This proactive conversation can prevent serious complications. So, if you're eating bananas at night or taking potassium-rich snacks after dinner, please speak to your doctor. Review your medications. Don't let a well-meaning habit take away your independence, your voice, or your life. What do you think about this information? Did it surprise you? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this helpful so far, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share this video with someone you care about. And if you thought bananas were surprising, wait until you hear about a fruit that acts like a blood thinner, especially dangerous for those on heart medications. It's sweet, tropical, and quietly harmful. Find out in the next section. 2. Pineapple, the hidden blood thinner that can cause brain bleeds in seniors. If you're over 65 and on heart or blood pressure medications, there's a fruit in your kitchen that may be doing more harm than help. Sweet, tropical, and beloved by many seniors trying to eat healthy, pineapple is often praised for its anti-inflammatory benefits and digestive support. But here's what you're not being told. Pineapple contains a natural enzyme called bromelain that can act like a blood thinner, and when combined with common medications, it can set off a ticking time bomb inside your brain. You might not taste the danger, but your blood knows. Bromelain interferes with your body's ability to clot. That may sound like a good thing if you're trying to prevent a heart attack, but when it goes too far, it can cause tiny, fragile vessels in your brain to rupture, especially if you're already taking aspirin, warfarin, Coumadin, Plavix, clopidogrel, or other anticoagulants. Pineapple's silent threat. This text delves into the scientific mechanism of bromelain's effect on blood clotting and highlights the critical danger when combined with common anticoagulant medications, leading to brain ruptures. The scientist combines general style is essential here to explain this complex biological interaction clearly and gravely. Most seniors don't realize this, and the supplement bottle, or even that innocent bowl of fruit salad, won't come with a warning. Consider the case of Mrs. Clara Bell, 81, a retired teacher from Texas. She came in with a pounding headache, dizziness, and nausea. Her son thought it was the flu, but the CT scan told another story. A small intracerebral hemorrhage, a bleed deep in the brain. She didn't fall. She didn't have uncontrolled blood pressure. She hadn't changed her medications, but she had recently started drinking fresh pineapple juice every morning after reading it was good for inflammation. She thought she was helping her memory. Instead, she was making her blood too thin to protect her brain. Her labs showed low clotting markers. Combined with her low-dose aspirin and the daily pineapple, her brain had no protection when a small vessel burst. She lived, but she's never been the same. Her balance is off. She needs help showering. Her daughter now checks every label in the fridge. Clara said with tears in her eyes, "I wish someone had told me a fruit could bleed my brain." This is the kind of loss that isn't dramatic on the outside, but inside it changes everything. One bite at a time, one sip at a time, it adds up. Expert advice on pineapple and blood thinners. If you're on blood-thinning medications, including prescription anticoagulants or even daily aspirin, it's absolutely essential to be cautious with pineapple. This isn't about completely avoiding it forever, but about mindful consumption. Small amounts, like a few pieces in a fruit salad, might be acceptable for some, but regular, large servings, or especially concentrated forms like pineapple juice or bromelain supplements, should be approached with extreme caution. Alternative anti-inflammatory foods. If you're looking for natural anti-inflammatory benefits, there are many safer options that won't interfere with your medications. Consider foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids like salmon, flax seeds, and walnuts. Turmeric, ginger, and leafy greens are also excellent choices for reducing inflammation without the blood-thinning concerns. Always discuss any new supplements or significant dietary changes with your doctor, especially when managing chronic conditions or taking medications. They can help you navigate these interactions safely. So the next time you reach for pineapple thinking it's harmless, remember Clara, especially if you're taking blood thinners. Even a healthy fruit can quietly work against you. And just when you think avoiding blood-thinning fruits is enough, what if we told you there's a fruit that looks innocent but floods your brain with sugar, feeding inflammation like fuel on fire? 3. Grapes. Sweet on the outside, silently harmful to the aging brain. If you're over 60, chances are someone has told you that grapes are a healthy snack, and at first glance they seem innocent. Small, easy to eat, full of antioxidants. But what many seniors don't know is that grapes, especially the seedless, extra sweet varieties found in most grocery stores today, can pose a hidden threat to your brain, particularly when eaten in the evening. The danger isn't just the sugar, it's how fast that sugar enters your bloodstream. Grapes are high in fructose, and when consumed without fiber, protein, or fat to slow digestion, like during a late-night snack, they cause a rapid spike in blood sugar followed by a crash. In younger people, the body usually handles this. But in seniors, this glucose roller coaster becomes far more dangerous. Spikes and crashes can trigger inflammation in the small vessels of the brain, increase nighttime blood pressure variability, and even contribute to the onset of silent strokes, tiny, symptomless events that damage brain tissue a little at a time. Consider the case of Mr. Walter Vance, age 76, a retired accountant. He began complaining of lightheadedness, blurred vision, and mild confusion, symptoms that would come and go, mostly in the mornings. He assumed it was just age or maybe dehydration, but after a brain MRI, evidence of multiple microinfarcts, small strokes that had gone unnoticed, was found. As his lifestyle was reviewed, one detail stood out. Every night he sat down in front of the TV with a large bowl of grapes. It helped me stay away from cookies, he said. But in reality, those grapes, loaded with fast sugar, were quietly wreaking havoc. Combined with his prediabetes and blood pressure meds, they became a perfect storm for brain inflammation and vascular stress. Today, Walter struggles with short-term memory. He can no longer live alone, and his family has had to hire part-time in-home help, all from something he thought was healthy. That's the lesson. Even natural sugar can become a neurotoxin if consumed the wrong way, at the wrong time, and in the wrong amount, especially when your brain is more fragile and your metabolism slower with age. Expert advice on grapes and sugar spikes. The key here is portion control and intelligent pairing. While grapes offer some antioxidants, their high sugar content and low fiber mean they should be treated more like a dessert for seniors, especially those managing blood sugar or blood pressure. Portion size. Limit your intake to a small handful, about 1–2 cups, rather than a large bowl. Timing. Avoid eating grapes or any high-sugar fruit late in the evening. Your metabolism slows down as you sleep, making it harder for your body to process the sugar efficiently. Consuming them earlier in the day is much better. Pairing is key. Never eat grapes by themselves, especially as a snack. Always pair them with protein or healthy fats to slow down sugar absorption. For example, enjoy a small handful of grapes with a few almonds, a piece of cheese, or a spoonful of Greek yogurt. This helps to buffer the sugar spike and provides a more sustained energy release. Prioritize fiber-rich fruits. When choosing fruits, lean towards those with more fiber, like berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, or apples with the skin on. Fiber helps to regulate blood sugar and provides sustained energy. 4. Watermelon. Refreshing by day, dangerous by night for aging blood vessels. Watermelon is the very definition of summer comfort. It's refreshing, easy to eat, and feels harmless, even healing. For seniors, it seems like the perfect snack, especially after dinner. Low in calories, full of water, and gentle on the stomach. But what has been observed in practice has taught a hard truth. For older adults, eating watermelon in the evening could silently set the stage for a stroke while you sleep. Here's why. Watermelon is over 90% water and contains an amino acid called citrulline, which naturally helps relax and widen blood vessels. That sounds like a benefit, but for seniors, especially those on blood pressure medications or diuretics, this can be a dangerous combination. When you eat watermelon at night, the vessel dilation it triggers, combined with frequent urination due to its high water content, can cause two critical problems while you sleep: dehydration and sudden blood pressure drops. Your brain relies on steady blood flow and hydration through the night. When fluid is lost and pressure drops too low, the brain doesn't get the oxygen it needs. That's when small strokes, silent ones, can happen. No dramatic collapse, just waking up confused, off balance, or with a hand that suddenly won't move right. Consider the case of Mrs. Emily Grant, age 79. She had been eating a large bowl of chilled watermelon every night in July to stay cool. Her medications included a diuretic for heart failure and a mild beta blocker. One morning, she couldn't stand. Her speech was slurred. At the hospital, signs of a nocturnal ischemic stroke were found, likely caused by overnight dehydration and low cerebral blood flow. She had no warning signs, no chest pain, no shortness of breath, just a sweet fruit and a good night's sleep until it wasn't. Today, she uses a cane and her short-term memory is fragmented. "I thought I was being healthy," she said with tears in her eyes. "I didn't know a fruit could do this. That's what makes this so frightening." It wasn't junk food. It wasn't alcohol. It was a simple mistake at the wrong time with the wrong body conditions. So yes, watermelon is hydrating, but timing, dosage, and medication interactions matter more than you think. For seniors, eating it late at night is like walking into a storm with no umbrella. Expert advice on watermelon and hydration. Watermelon is wonderful for hydration during the day, especially when you're active and can easily replenish fluids. However, for seniors, the evening is when caution is most needed. Daytime delights. Enjoy watermelon during the day when your body is more active and can better manage fluid shifts and blood pressure fluctuations. Evening caution. As a general rule, it's recommended to avoid large servings of high water content fruits like watermelon after dinner, especially if you take diuretics or blood pressure medication. Your body's systems are slowing down for sleep, and introducing a large volume of water along with blood vessel widening compounds can be problematic. Listen to your body. If you experience frequent nighttime urination or lightheadedness, discuss your fluid intake and fruit consumption with your doctor. These could be subtle signs that your body is struggling to maintain balance overnight. Optimal nighttime hydration. Instead of a large bowl of fruit, consider a small glass of plain water or herbal tea a few hours before bed if you feel thirsty. This allows your body time to process the fluids before sleep. 5. Fruit juices. The healthy choice that spikes your blood pressure and threatens your brain. You've probably seen the commercials. A smiling senior sipping a glass of juice. The bottle proudly stamped with labels like 100% natural, heart healthy, or no added sugar. It looks wholesome, safe, even smart. But it's important to know the truth. For many older adults, that innocent glass of fruit juice, especially when consumed daily, can quietly spike your blood pressure, damage your brain's blood vessels, and increase your risk of stroke, especially if you're already on medications. Here's why. Most fruit juices, even the ones labeled pure or organic, are loaded with concentrated sugars and natural fructose, often more than a can of soda. But unlike whole fruits, juices strip away the fiber, meaning that sugar hits your bloodstream fast, causing a sudden surge in blood sugar and blood pressure. For a younger person, the body can handle that swing. But for someone over 65, especially someone on beta blockers, diuretics, or statins, that sharp spike and crash can be dangerous, even deadly. Consider the case of Mr. Robert Lee, 84 years old, a retired shop owner from Florida. He began complaining of racing heartbeats in the morning, flushing in his face, and dizzy spells. His family thought it was just part of aging. But one question changed everything. "What do you have for breakfast?" He said, a slice of toast, and a tall glass of no-sugar-added orange juice. Every day for the last 12 years, tests were run. His blood pressure was swinging wildly in the early hours. His blood vessels showed signs of inflammation, and he'd recently had a mini-stroke he didn't even know about, just blamed it on old age fog. The reality: that daily juice was shocking his system like a caffeine jolt, with sugar stripping hydration and stressing his cardiovascular system. When the juice was cut and his hydration and morning meal adjusted, within a month, the palpitations stopped. But the price of not knowing sooner: he now has permanent short-term memory issues and struggles with balance. "I thought I was being healthy," he said. "I didn't know the juice could turn on me." That's the hard part. People think they're doing the right thing, but as you age, the body changes. What once nourished you can now quietly harm you, and labels won't warn you. That's why this information is crucial. Expert advice on fruit juices. The stance is clear: whole fruit is almost always superior to fruit juice, especially for seniors. Avoid daily juice. Consider fruit juice as an occasional treat rather than a daily staple. The 100% natural label can be misleading because it doesn't account for the rapid sugar spike and lack of fiber. Choose whole fruit. When you want to enjoy fruit, choose the whole fruit. The fiber in whole fruit slows down sugar absorption, provides a feeling of fullness, and offers additional nutrients. For example, an orange is far healthier than a glass of orange juice. Dilute if necessary. If you occasionally enjoy juice, try diluting it with water to reduce the sugar concentration. Read labels carefully. Even no sugar-added juices can be high in natural sugars. Always check the total sugar content per serving. Water is best. For hydration, plain water is always your best and safest bet. Add a slice of lemon, cucumber, or a few berries for flavor without the sugar load. So if you've been drinking orange, apple, or cranberry juice every day without thinking twice, now's the time to think. The sweetness in that glass may be far more bitter than your sweetness. By now you might be feeling overwhelmed or even scared, and that's completely understandable. You've just heard how 5 common foods, even ones you've trusted your whole life, could silently raise your risk of stroke, blood pressure spikes, or brain bleeds. But here's the good news: you are not powerless. The food you choose today, yes, even at your next meal, can either fuel your brain's decline or protect it for years to come. The difference lies not in the pills you take, but in the plate in front of you. Consider the case of Mrs. Nancy Cooper, age 73. She felt frustrated because she had a drawer full of supplements: vitamin D for her bones, niacin for her cholesterol, a multivitamin, and fruit juices she drank for energy. But despite all of that, she was dizzy every morning. Her blood pressure was unpredictable and her thinking felt cloudy. "I'm doing everything they say to do," she said. "Why do I feel worse?" Her nutrition was restructured around real foods, simple ingredients her body could recognize and handle. No magic superfoods, no fad diets, just consistent, balanced meals designed for how the aging brain and body actually work. Her breakfast changed from juice and toast to 1 boiled egg, clean protein; half an avocado, healthy fats; a slice of whole grain toast, slow-release energy; a handful of blueberries, brain-protecting antioxidants; and a glass of room-temperature water, gentle hydration. Within 2 weeks, she said her mind felt clearer than it had in years. The dizziness faded, her blood pressure steadied, and most of all, she felt in control again. Here's what every senior should know: your body at 70 doesn't process food like it did at 40. You don't need high doses. You need balance. You need hydration, real fiber, natural fats, and steady nutrients, not sugar bombs, not superfruit powders, not miracle claims in a bottle. Top brain-protecting and body-supporting foods for seniors: leafy greens like spinach, kale, collard greens. These are powerhouses of nutrients. They're packed with folate, vitamin K, and antioxidants, which are crucial for brain health and reducing inflammation. Aim for a serving every day, perhaps in a salad, a smoothie, or lightly sautéed. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, mackerel. These are rich in brain-saving omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA and EPA. Omega-3s are vital for brain function, memory, and reducing the risk of cognitive decline. Aim for 2 to 3 servings per week. If you're not a fan of fish, consider a high-quality omega-3 supplement after consulting with your doctor. Berries, especially blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. While the cautions of high-sugar foods like grapes were discussed, berries are a different story. They are lower in sugar and bursting with anti-inflammatory polyphenols and antioxidants. These compounds protect brain cells from damage and support memory. Enjoy a handful daily, perhaps in your oatmeal or yogurt. Nuts and seeds, especially walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, almonds. These are excellent sources of healthy fats, fiber, protein, and essential vitamins and minerals like vitamin E and magnesium. Walnuts, in particular, are lauded for their brain-boosting omega-3s. A small handful, about a quarter cup, as a snack can be incredibly beneficial. Whole grains like oatmeal, quinoa, brown rice, whole wheat bread. Unlike refined grains, whole grains retain their fiber, which helps regulate blood sugar, provides sustained energy, and improves circulation. Opt for slow-release carbohydrates that nourish your brain steadily throughout the day. Avocado, this creamy fruit, yes, it's a fruit, is loaded with healthy monounsaturated fats that support brain health and blood flow. It also contains fiber and potassium. Enjoy a quarter or half an avocado with your meals. Eggs, a fantastic source of high-quality protein and choline, which is vital for brain health and neurotransmitter production. Eggs are easy to digest and versatile. Water, it cannot be stressed enough. Proper hydration is fundamental for all bodily functions, especially brain health and blood pressure regulation. Sip water consistently throughout the day, aiming for at least 6-8 glasses, unless your doctor advises otherwise due to specific health conditions. Nancy still eats fruit, but now she does it wisely with timing, portion control, and full awareness. She said, "I didn't have to give up food, I just had to give up fear." You have that same power. What you eat now shapes how you think, walk, remember, and live years from now. It's not about restriction. It's about reclaiming control over your health, one smart choice at a time. And if you're wondering how to put all of this into action without pills, without confusion, consider this final truth. Sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't what you're eating. It's what you still believe is safe. At this stage in life, every choice carries more weight than it did decades ago. The body slows down. The brain becomes more sensitive. The heart beats a little more carefully. And yet, so many seniors walk through each day trusting habits that once worked, never realizing that what used to be harmless might now be dangerous. That's the quiet tragedy that is often observed. People who genuinely want to stay healthy, who choose fruit over dessert, who take their vitamins, who sip juice instead of soda, only to find themselves in a hospital bed, confused and afraid, asking, "How did this happen?" It happens because they weren't told the full story. Because marketing promises natural, healthy, or heart-friendly without revealing how these things interact with aging organs, medications, or nighttime vulnerabilities. Because it's easy to forget that the brain doesn't shout when something's wrong. It whispers until one day it doesn't whisper anymore. But it doesn't have to be this way. The first step to protecting your brain isn't a new pill or a pricey supplement. It's awareness, knowing that even good foods can turn dangerous in the wrong context, recognizing that age changes everything, how you absorb, how you metabolize, how your brain responds. And most importantly, being willing to change old habits in exchange for new protection. Many have reclaimed their clarity, independence, and peace of mind, not through extreme diets, but through small, smart shifts. Eating earlier, cutting back on fruit juices, replacing late-night snacks with protein and fiber, checking labels, asking better questions. Because at this age, you don't just deserve to live. You deserve to live well, with strength, with dignity, with full control over the choices that shape your tomorrow. So the next time you reach for something that looks healthy, ask yourself, is this truly good for me or just good in theory? Your brain, your future, and your freedom are worth that question, and it's never too late to choose differently. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. We'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths.